What's up, everybody? It's your girl Java on the mic. 1212. Welcome to the room where my space becomes our space. We might laugh, we might cry and get deep. Some days it'll feel like a random scroll or maybe even a therapy session. But one thing's for sure, you'll always leave with truth and maybe a word. So, y'all, I had a whole plan for this episode here. I had a whole tone and I was ready to come in and we was going to talk about this and that, but honestly, today I am frustrated. I am like woo. I am frustrated, okay? Today is not a good day for me. Um like I'm trying to be focused today, which is why I decided to just go ahead and record anyway cuz I'm trying to, stay focused. Even this morning, trying to really get into prayer and really get into reading. And although I read a little bit this morning. My Bible is what I'm talking about. Um I got into some reading this morning, but I am not in a space or a place of, you know, really going in prayer. And today, me and our intercessory group, like we're fasting and praying today. And I'm just like like I don't mind the fasting and the praying that we're doing. That's not the problem. I'll do it, but my mind is not. I'm not in the, the going in and the really getting in and praying. Although, child, I probably need it today. Like, come on, loose here, break these chains now. Like, this is probably what I need. But no, I'm not. I'm really not in that space. I will not negate or, not pray and not read. Of course I'm gonna do it. um but I also am in a space where I need to be doing things like I should be at the library or going to the gym, to stay on my schedule. But I also just want to go take a nap. Like, just not even deal with anything at all. Like, let's just go lay down and, gut it out. Like, let's not deal with anything today. But I also, this is gonna drive me bananas. But I also want to go outside and hang out with people. But at the same time, I just I just want to drive, listen to music or listen to the wind, or just come and sit in my chair and do nothing. or binge watch a good show, eat some my favorite snack, some peanut butter and apples, and just be by myself. Like, I know that I'm not the only one that deals with that, you know, sometimes randomly on any given day. But it's really just the frustration. Um I have had sad days or sad moments or, upset days, recently, but today it's full on. Ooh, I don't want to do this. And I started out like being upset with God, and I know that sounds horrible, doesn't it? That like that sounds really bad. But again, I'm not the only one. But this morning I ended up uh reading a scripture. I joined this Bible reading group I was invited to, and we read this scripture, and I'm a couple of days behind, but it's kind of ironic that this morning I went and did the days that I was behind. And where is this? I'm going to read this scripture to you. It's Proverbs 19 and 3. Okay. Proverbs 19 and 3 says, Let me see. I'm gonna read it in the NLT. And then I'm gonna read it in the message because the message tries to hurt your feelings, okay? So the NLT Proverbs 19 and 3. People ruin their lives by their own foolishness, and then they're angry at the Lord. The message says people ruin their lives by their own stupidity. So why does God always get blamed? I said, oh my God. Because listen, we do go through things, and a lot of the things that we go through, like we put ourselves in, and then we come to God and be like, what are you doing? Like, why are you just standing back and letting this happen? And I have had moments like that, recently, where I'm like, God, hello, do, hello, where are you? Knock, knock, knock. Where are you, Lord? Like, why aren't you fixing this? Why aren't you doing something about this? And maybe you've had days like that too, where you know you're frustrated and you're asking God, like, where is he? And then that frustration is bubbling over into your day, and you don't feel like doing anything, and you should be doing something, but your feelings, your obligations, your mind, your emotions, they're all pulling you in 100 different directions. And days where you're trying to keep it together and you want to keep it together, like, I want to keep it together, but you also just like, you don't care. Baby, I am with you, okay? I feel that. And it can, but the problem is, it can send you into a space, like I said a few days ago, and for a period of time, I was like in this dark space, and it started with frustration, but then it just went into this whole other dimension of, man, I'm stuck and I don't want to move, and I can't do anything, and I don't know how I'm going to pull myself out, and I don't know how I'm going to make this happen. And you know I had to, like, ask myself, well, what's going on with you? Why are you feeling like this? Like David in the Bible, the man who slayed Goliath. He went through so much back and forth in the book of Psalms. But in Psalms 42, he asked, why are you cast down, oh my soul? Why are you disquieted within me? And that's basically Bible jargon for, what is wrong with me, child? what what is wrong with you? That's basically what he's asking himself. What is wrong? Soul, come on, get it together. And it's a frustration, it's a dark place, it's an overwhelm, it's a so much that you're feeling, and you don't even know. Sometimes you can't even pinpoint, where did it come from, why is it here? Or even if you can pinpoint where it came from, why can't I get rid of it? Why can't I break out of it? And there were times when I stopped, and I just went and took a nap, because frustration isn't always a sign that you failed. Sometimes it's a sign that you just need to go lay down. Sometimes that's really what you need. You just need to go lay down. You need to reset, or you need to go talk to somebody. Sometimes that's what it is. Like the book of Ecclesiastes says that two, hold on, let me find it, because I'm not gonna misquote the word. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, two are better than one. Because if either one falls, then one of them can help the other one up. That you don't always need to reset by yourself. Sometimes it's going to take talking to somebody, talking to a friend, talking to a therapist, um talking to somebody in your community. Listen, getting a mama, one of them mamas that's going to say, hey, let's get it together, okay? A coach, a mentor, somebody needing a community does not make you weak or less spiritual. Like, God made us to need each other. And there's been so much that has been going on, lately all over the world and even right in our own backyards. We absolutely need each other. Like, how are you doing? How are you? Tell me. Tell me how you're doing. Write it in the comment or leave me a message. How are you doing? That is always on my heart, to pull people in and really say, "Hey, do you need to talk? Let's talk. How are you doing?" Because the world has gotten to such a place where people don't care how other people are doing, unless they're on their side, unless they agree with, what they agree with, unless they're part of their own family. It's like, and especially sometimes in the Christian world, it's almost taboo to talk about therapy, or needing someone to just kind of get things off your chest. Well, no, you need to pray, and you just need to do this, you just need to do that. But sometimes you do just need to talk. I'm not saying that therapy is the be all end all, but there are some people that have found that they benefit from talking. There are some people that find that that doesn't help them. And okay, whatever side you're on, okay, do that. But you do need community. You do absolutely need somebody that every now and again is going to ask you, "How are you doing? Are you okay?" Sometimes knowing how somebody is doing might be the key to understanding their point of view and why they have it. Like, my grandma would always tell us, don't just look at the person that's opposing you. Look past them. Look past the person that you're talking to, beyond what they're showing you, and see the soul. She used to always tell us that. See the soul. See the soul of the person. I understand, what they're saying, what they're doing, how they're, biting back at you, but let's understand, there may be a reason to this. That does not excuse the behavior. Okay. Let's That does not excuse the behavior, but you might understand why it is that they're, presenting the way that they are. And that's why having the right people around you is vital when you're feeling a certain type of way, because they can see into you. Like I said, a friend, a mentor, a mama, you know, a spouse. Sometimes your spouse won't be able to do it, but a husband, a wife, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, whatever, a best friend, and somebody that somebody that has an unbiased opinion, which is why people do go to therapy. Because I need somebody that doesn't know him, or that doesn't know her, or doesn't know them, and I just need to be able to say what I want to say, child. Like, sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need that. And yes, you can pray, but sometimes a physical person right there with you, like, you need to be able to talk, because hiding hiding isn't always best. And listen, I got to a place where I didn't want anybody, I mean nobody. Nobody. I didn't want nobody to see me. Like, I didn't want to be looked at a certain way. Like, I didn't want people to look at me like I was incapable of handling things, or I didn't want my ministry to be questioned. I didn't want to look or feel weak. Like, even though I definitely felt that way. I was definitely weak. And I didn't want anybody to pity me. I hate that. I hate that. I did not want to be pitied. There have been times where I have definitely wanted somebody says, "Oh my God, are you okay? What's wrong with you?" But in recent times, please don't do that. First of all, that'll make it worse if I'm already feeling some type of way. But not only that, again, it makes me feel like I'm incapable, or like you think I'm incapable, or like I need a band-aid, or no, no, no. Let me, like, just talk to me. Just talk to me. In my last, I've recently made a social media post about the last time that I went to go do spoken word um in Columbia at Busboys. And I posted it along with the caption saying that I wasn't in a good space that day. Not at all. I wasn't, even after I came down off the stage. My husband was with me, and he's the one that recorded it for me. And even after I came down off the stage, I was just like, that was horrible, and I just didn't feel good. And normally, I'm when I'm on the stage, um I'm a character, or I step completely into Java, into who she is, and I couldn't. And even I'll do more than one piece, I'll have an explanation, this and that, and I couldn't remember the words to my piece. I had to read it off my phone. I only did one piece. I couldn't pull it out. And I posted the end of it on social media, and I let people know this is what was really going on that day. And I masked it. And I didn't want anybody to see how I was feeling. And I was able to get through it because nobody saw me. And that's exactly what I wanted. But that's not what I wanted for real. Like, deep on the inside, I wanted to be able to say, y'all, I am struggling right now. And there's a lot of people that go through that. They want to be able to say, I'm not with it right now. I don't have it right now. And I need somebody to see me. And that's why every now and again asking somebody, "Hey, how are you? What's going on?" And really waiting for a response. Not the typical, "Oh yeah, I'm good." But like a real I need Alexa to chill. But like a real talk, a real, you know, how is it going? What is going on in your mind? What is going on in your heart? Now, does that mean that, if you're feeling some type of way, that you should just stop? Because I know some people will say, "Well, why didn't you just not perform? Why didn't you just not get up on the stage?" Because now there have been plenty of times where I had to work through how I was feeling, whether I had to preach, teach, get up on the stage, or, whatever. I was talking to my audience, whatever. There have been plenty of times where I worked through it, but then I was also honest and said to the audience, "Hey, this is what's going on," or I added it into my message, or, whatever it is that I was doing at the moment. Um, because I mean, honestly, there are going to be sometimes where you have to work through how you're feeling. You may not have to hide, but you do have to work through it. Like, even Jesus, he when he went into the Garden of Gethsemane, right before he was about to be betrayed by Judas, he took a couple of the disciples with him and asked them to keep watch while he would go and pray. But he also confided in them, or admitted to them, that he was deeply troubled and grieved and overwhelmed. He admitted this. And he said, "I needed to go pray." And then he went and prayed and admitted it to his father. So he had both. He had somebody that he was able to admit this to, that he was able to say this to, and then he also went and prayed. He did both. And even with how he felt, he still went through it. He still went through with what he needed to do. Bloody sweat and tears and all. He still did it. And in the book of Nehemiah, when they were rebuilding the wall, the people were saying how, because of the holes And the spaces that were in the wall, they knew that they were vulnerable. Like they were able to be attacked because of the spaces in the wall. They knew that the threat was real. And they admitted that they were fearful and that they had concern, but they kept building that wall until it was done. You don't have to act like you don't really see a threat. A threat is if a threat is in front of your face, you don't have to act like the threat is not really there. A threat is a threat. And if you really see it, and if you really are feeling it, and if you really are afraid, or you really are concerned, or you really do have a worry, then admit that. If you really are overwhelmed and you really do, you really are feeling weighted down, admit that. That is okay to admit. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you, look like anything. Like how I said, I'm always concerned about, oh, am I gonna look weak? Are people gonna, think any less of me? Are they gonna feel this type of way about me? Honey, who cares? Who cares? If that's really what you feel, and if you really feel overwhelmed, you better say something. Speak up. You might have to work through how you're feeling to get the assignment done, but you don't have to mask that you're feeling. How you're feeling. You work through how you're feeling. Sadness, grief, overwhelm, upset, frustration, anger. Work through how you're feeling if you need to get something done. But tell somebody, I am feeling. Okay? I am feeling it. And I have found myself there lately. And even last night, I had to work through how I was feeling. But I told God, but listen, but I am feeling, okay? And even today, I am working through, even right now, doing this podcast, I'm working through how I'm feeling because I'm frustrated, because I'm angry, because I'm upset, because, I don't want to have to deal with anything. I don't, Today is not a day that I feel like fasting and praying and doing all the things. I don't want to do anything, but I'm working through how I'm feeling and admitting to God, I am feeling. I am feeling it, but I'm going to do what I need to do. And not every time do you have to push through or work through how you're feeling. It's not every single time, but you don't have to pretend that you don't feel. And to get yourself out of how you're feeling, sometimes you may have to switch up your scenery. Like to pull myself out of the dark place, I had to start going to the library. The library is in this beautiful part of town. The library, the building itself is so beautiful. And please, you're surrounded by books. You're surrounded by, thousands of voices with millions of words bursting with, creativity and perspective and fact and imagination. Of course, that's what other place to be, and I've had to start using my voice as a weapon against how I feel, um, instead of using it to say, gosh, it's always, or I'm tired of, and, God, when is this going to change? And when is that going to happen? I started using my voice against how I was feeling and declaring what I didn't feel at the time. I am okay. Declaring whatever the word says, declaring whatever against my situation or against what I was feeling at the moment, or the whatever I was standing in the middle of, started declaring against it. Even if it wasn't, Bible, but just declaring, no, my mind is straight. No, this frustration is not gonna hold on to me. It is not gonna ruin or run me. And then, turning on something, whether it's music, whether it's something funny on TV, something contrary to how I feel. Something that's going to take me out of my mindset. I mean, a lot of people may not agree with it, but there have been plenty of times where I turned on some music. I know the other day Yeah, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. I said the darker the skin. I had to take my mind off of what I was feeling. And whatever avenue you have to go through, then go through that avenue. But it will take your mind off of how you're feeling. And I want you to know, like, the rest of that song tells you, keep your head up. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. So, I mean, not totally bad. Come on, like, go with me, okay? But it'll take your mind off of where you are at the moment and allow you to, like, calm down so that, you can think on something else and then do something else. And then, last but not least, tell somebody, speak up. Yes, again, yes, pray, obviously pray. But find somebody that you can confide in and talk to and say, "Listen, I am grieved. I am overwhelmed, or I'm fearful, or I'm concerned. I'm angry, child. I'm frustrated, and I just need to vent." And whether I need you to respond to me or I just need a listening ear so that I can talk it out and either hear how crazy I sound or, just kind of blow some steam, whatever, speak up. Speak up. So, I am still frustrated, yes. Although being able to sit here and talk and move forward with, what I know I needed to get done, it makes me feel better. So I do feel a little better, a little lighter. Um Although it does not solve the situation, but at least, again, now with a calm head, I can think more clearly. Yeah. So you see why, you got to intercept your thoughts with something else. Like, it's okay. This it's okay. If you're part of Frustration Nation for for a moment, I'm with you. Again, I'm with you. But speak up. And if you're not on that side of it, then ask somebody how they're really doing and wait to see what the real response is. That's it. That's all for today. Thanks for coming in the room with me and, making this space ours. And if the word was for you, then, I always tell you, don't be selfish, pass it on. And if it wasn't for you, that's okay. Please share it anyway, because even if you're not in this space, somebody else might be, and they might need to hear a bit of encouragement. But either way, make sure you subscribe, because the next one might be yours. And so until then, fam, keep your heart open, keep leaning into truth, and you just might catch a word. Peace.